Artemis II mission is a test mission of the Orion space capsule.
Artemis II will be the first time we put humans on this rocket.
We're going back to the moon because it's the next step in our journey to Mars.
We were always going to the moon.
Pushing ourselves to explore is just core to who we are. That's a part of being a human.
And liftoff! We shall return.
Continuing to test out every bit of Orion.
Coming back to Earth, 7 miles a second.
When humanity sets big goals, we can bring together genius from around the world.
You have the best people on planet Earth putting this vehicle together.
That's what's up.
To innovate for the benefit of humanity and to inspire the world through discovery.
And here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Welcome to my watch party that I'm co-hosting with Astronomers Without Borders. Thanks so much for joining. I'm so excited today. Of course, we are watching NASA's launch of Artemis II. It's a fantastically amazing moment in human history. And of course, we're also launching Global Astronomy Month this month of April, all month of April, throughout the month, 4 weeks of great programming related to astronomy and space. So do tune into that. And of course, we've got here the launch, and they're already well underway. There's 1 hour and 22 minutes, as you can see on the countdown clock. This is incredible, so cool. We are very, very close to returning to the moon. It's exciting. Let's tune in for a second. This is the official NASA feed that we've got.
So thank you, Nicole. I hope you're holding up okay.
Yeah, I'm loving it out here. It's been great.
Let's learn a little bit more about Nicole. Her first mission to space was actually last March. She launched from here at Kennedy Space Center as pilot of NASA's SpaceX Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station. And what a beautiful
So this is their official feed we're watching. It's really cool to see all the moments leading up to the launch. They've got a lot of recorded video they're also showing of the preparations that are involved in getting the Artemis SLS booster rocket ready, and of course the Orion capsule getting ready. The 4 crew members on board, getting them ready. This is a mission that's been in the works for many years, so it's really amazing to see.
That's so great to just see how far you've come. Again, I think that speaks.
So we are looking at, again, the NASA video from the Kennedy Space Center from Florida, on the coast of Florida. There is still an 80% chance that the weather will cooperate. We are just over 1 hour and 21 minutes to the launch. Really incredible stuff. So happy folks are joining in, seeing the feed. I hope you're enjoying it. If, of course, there's a break in my feed, just remember you can go onto YouTube or Facebook and just look up NASA live feed, and you'll be able to get it. There are already over 390,000 people watching the live feed. This one that you're watching from NASA.
This is a significant milestone, and we may be putting the names of a few more astronauts in the history books today. The Artemis II crew is set to launch today. Will join a select list of humans.
Well, they're giving some background information.
And Artemis II, like missions before it, is a test mission. During Ascent, the crew and the teams here in the room are prepared for a variety of scenarios. Some of these will be called out directly by Capcom Stan Love during Ascent, and some are a little more subtle. These calls can be split into 2 categories: alternate main engine cutoff or MECO targets, and aborts. First, there are 2 alternate MECO targets or AMTs.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just mute that, and I'm gonna bring on a special guest here for us. Let's see if I can bring our guest in. Da, 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 da. Let's see, add to the right. Guest one, and we'll see if we can do this and bring in guest. Let's see, Valentine. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, your
Hello.
mic is off. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. We're gonna be able to see the feed, the live feed. Hi, Valentine. How are you?
Hello. I am fine. From the other part of the globe. I'm in
Yes.
Romania. You are in Canada.
Yeah, let me introduce you. Valentin Gregar is our national coordinator from Romania for Astronomers Without Borders that is co-hosting this event with me. And Valentin has been a torchbearer for amateur astronomy around the world, and in Romania particularly, doing so much work. He's on television, he does outreach, he is everywhere. I think you even have an asteroid named after you. So this fellow Valentin is really loves astronomy, the night sky, and space. So Valentin, thank you so much for joining me from Romania. It's wonderful to have you on our watch party, watching this historic event of seeing humans go out to the moon after over 5 decades. What are your thoughts, Valentin, on this historic moment?
Yes, I started to looking the sky when I was very young, 43 years ago. And I saw many in my life, but never saw people to the moon. Uh, yes, and this is a historical moment, yes, for all the world. And this is a feeling that we are very happy to use technology for the peace reasons. And this is good because this is not event of Americans. This event is of all the world and for the all humanity. And this is very important. And I think this events like this can connect all the people, because indifferent where you are living, in this moment, all eyes are on this event, and this is fantastical. It's fantastic.
That's right. That's right. All eyes are on this. It's incredible how something like this, a mission, to space, to the moon, can really bring people together. I wanted to ask you, Valentin, you're in Romania right now, and I know it's super late at night, and but are a lot of people watching in Romania this mission?
Yes, I think all Romania is connected. Here is past midnight, but almost nothing sleep. No people sleep because all the people want to see what happened. Will be or not to be. This is the answer.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of our community is with eyes on the screens in this moment. We're communicating, and the emotion, the feeling is very special. Is a moment when nobody can sleep, and we want to see the happy end. We have to have one happy end.
Yeah.
In few
I,
months.
I mean, when you're looking at this, did you ever think that humans would return to the moon again, like we did in the Apollo era?
Yes, about Apollo missions, I only read in books, and now is special because I can see that this event can happen again. I'm not sure, maybe, depend, but today is the first step for this moment, and I'm happy that in the end we arrive here in this moment. This is the zero moment and the first step, and hope to be with happy end. Yes, it's important to say for the humanity because it's not an usual event. To fly in space now is not a problem, and a lot of satellites. Almost every day we launch satellites and fly in space, but it's not usual to fly and go more than our orbit around the Earth. Is not unusual moment. It's not usual, and yes, this is very important because from this time will be not a revolution around Earth, but a long revolution till to the moon. Very.
That's it. I wanted to ask you as a an educator for especially young people. You do a lot of programs where you introduce children to the sky, and I would presume that looking at the moon is a big part of that through telescopes and binoculars. And what does that do you find young people are really excited to be able to see the moon through a telescope? What's your experience?
Yes, first time when you speak to young people, especially young people, about the sky, we speak about the stars, about meteors, comets, nebula, constellation, but when to go outside, especially in towns, in cities, it's not possible to see, for example, Milky Way or other faint object. But the moon is the first attraction, and the moon is very photogenic because the moon image is fantastical. All the people indifferent by the age, for example, when look in the telescope and look to the moon, exclamation is immediately wow,
Yeah.
because the moon is very exciting. The image is fantastical, and we can use the moon every time because in cities we have a lot of light pollution, but the moon is all the time is an attraction, and this is the first step for the people living in cities, in urban area, to look to the sky. This is the first object, moon, and the moon is fascinating, and yes, the moon is very important, and all the people can see the moon, indifferently where are living, and this is very important. And now they are looking to the moon with other eyes. Oh, some people go around the moon. Wow, incredible. Can we see by telescope? Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm just watching the show. They're just now closing the hatch to the
Yes.
Orion capsule. They're just now doing that, working on closing it. So this is a big moment. We are just about 1 hour and 10 minutes for the first launch attempt for Artemis II. There they are. They've just closed it, and they're locking it up. So amazing. So the four crew members are inside there, waiting for that momentous moment to launch. Wow, that is exciting. Valentine, I wanted to ask you, what are you personally looking forward to in this mission? What part of the mission are you most excited for?
Yes, like I suppose like all the people, we want to see what seen the people when arrive around the moon. We want to see what astronauts see. This is more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, getting a close-up view of the moon is going to be so iconic. It's really going to be those moments when they capture the high resolution video, photographs. It's going to be incredible.
Yes, yes. It will be a little distance, not too close, but enough distance to see the moon with other perspective, in other perspective. And
Absolutely.
also is important because our community, we in this moment in Romania are active, a large community who are waiting this moment. And after the launch, we make some calculations. We have a specialist in this aspect and make a calculation if we able to see the rocket about Romania, traveling across Romania, and after the launch, the position will be a little good for Romania, will be only at 8 degrees above horizon, but we hope to see when will be clear sky. Unfortunately, part of Romania are cloudy, like here in Târgoviște, but we try to see the rocket, and also some moments will be after that, because not only for one time, but for sometimes we cross the Romania, and we are very interested to see the trajectory above Romania of this rocket.
Absolutely. Yeah. And let me just put a little note here that I actually wrote a small blog post about being able to watch with small telescopes and potentially even maybe even binoculars, being able to see the Orion capsule while it's still orbiting the Earth, because there'll be 2 orbits of the Earth before they go off to the moon. And there are opportunities for backyard skywatchers to potentially see that Orion capsule in the first 2 days of the mission while it's in orbit around the Earth, and then again on its return. So people can check that out. I've got it on my Facebook page, links to that, if a miniature observing guide. And a big shout out to spaceweather.com, because that's where I saw it, and I think millions of other people saw that. Spaceweather.com had a really wonderful announcement about this opportunity, and it really made me think about it and get me excited. So let me just put that out there. And Valentin, before I let you go, because I know it's late and you've got other things going on, would you go on this rocket? Would you go to the moon? Or maybe not this mission, but in the future, would you ever consider going to the moon for a visit?
Yes, I saw the program, because as you mentioned in the start, I have a TV show, and 2 weeks ago, my guest was our specialist Claudiu Tănăselea, and he's playing all the program, and the perspective is good. We hope to keep this this program, and yes, coming years became very interesting from this point of view. Very interesting.
Well, you never know. I mean, if this takes off and the Artemis missions are successful, we'll see lunar bases on the moon, and it'll be really exciting seeing humanity's expansion. It would be interesting to see. So it's very, very interesting times we're living in. I want to thank you very much, Valentin, for coming on the show. So great to see you. As always, you do amazing work in astronomy outreach. Thank you so much, Valentin.
Also, thank you, and
cross our fingers.
Yes, and it was very nice to share with you this special moment. And Artemis, go on.
Yeah, let's go, Artemis. That's fantastic.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Valentin. Take care. Clear skies.
Bye. Clear skies. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, that was great. That was really fantastic. So here we are. We've got watching the live feed. We're going to listen in for a few moments.
This first day on orbit is actually really busy for them. They've got, 2 burns that they have to monitor. They've got to get the system set up, and they've got to get the cabin set up. So there's a lot going on in the next 24 hours for this crew. I think they've got a couple sections where they get to take a nap, but I don't think they get a full night's rest for quite some time. So,
Yeah.
Going through what's next.
And so as we say that, I mean, imagine what it would be like to live in a spacecraft for 10 days. Let's take a look at what life will be like in Orion.
Artemis II is our first crewed mission back to the moon since the Apollo program. A lot of the focus of Artemis II is really checking out systems to be sure that we're ready and well positioned for continued human exploration. My name is Susan Baggerman, and I'm the Chief Health and Performance Officer for the Orion program and the Artemis II mission. And this is 10 Days in Orion. For this mission, the crew will launch in the Orion spacecraft on top of the Space Launch System rocket, or the SLS rocket. Once they've launched and achieved orbit, they'll continue on checking out many of the different critical Orion systems, check out some of the critical medical systems, and be sure that we understand how the crew would do that successfully within the volume of Orion. We also have, of course, systems to feed the crew. They have a potable water dispenser that they'll check out. And then we also have a food warmer, kind of looks like a suitcase that the crew can use to heat their food. They're also going to check out the flywheel system. We'll have the crew perform some initial exercises. Part of that is to ensure that the flywheel is actually working, but part of it is actually to be sure that our environmental control systems are actually working. For sleeping, the crew will sleep in sleeping bags. Some crew members like to be very tightly bound up, and some like to float very free. They'll use the toilet for the first time and be sure that it's able to flush. While they're on their journey, they'll do some testing that they quickly don their suit just to be sure that we would be ready in the future for an emergency. They'll also check out our radiation shelter. If we were to have a solar particle event, we would be asking them to take stowage out of the stowage bay and put it in some specific locations on the vehicle, basically for it to serve as shielding.
And so I want to talk a little bit more about what we just heard in that package. I am interested in the space food. So Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy have a pretty big menu to choose from, so that's really cool. We're actually going to pull up a graphic now that kind of shows you some of the food.
All right, guys, let me just come back in here.
More than 10 types of beverages.
So I have another guest that's going to join me right now, another national coordinator from Sweden this time, part of Astronomers Without Borders team of astronomers that do a lot of outreach in their local regions. Astronomers Without Borders is in over 140 countries, and we have thousands of members across the world. It's really exciting to be engaging with people everywhere, just bringing the excitement of the night sky and the universe to everyone. And I'm very fortunate to bring in my guest right now is Peter Lind. Let's see if we can bring it in. Oh, there. Peter, hi.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
Good. How are things where you are?
Well, it's fine here. It's already very dark. It's nighttime. It's late in the evening. We have a clear sky here locally, so I have been able to see the full moon, very dominating in the sky, and Jupiter, of course, and also I saw Venus. I checked out; it was
wow.
So it's absolutely clear sky. So it's a good beginning of this adventure, I suppose.
Yes, and you are I know a very avid amateur astronomer, outreach person, and a professional astronomer as well. What are your thoughts about what's happening now? We're watching the Artemis mission, and about to potentially launch to the moon.
I think actually it's long overdue. It should have been done already in the 80s or lately in the
Absolutely.
90s. I mean,
Yeah.
if you understood what happened in the 60s, and I was then existing, I was young, but I
You were
really
around.
followed. Yeah, I was there, and following the Mercury and Gemini, and then the Apollo and all that fantastic stuff. At that time, I think many people thought that it would continue develop in a very rapid way, and we could have been on Mars already in 1980s. Some people thought, but all those things stopped or declined, so the space race more or less stopped.
You know, that's really
But
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting you bring up that it stopped because we thought, I remember the idea was that, okay, we've got Apollo, we know how to go to the moon, and now the next destination is going to be the red planet, Mars. And for some reason, we got diverted from going to Mars to developing the space shuttle, building the space station, staying basically in low Earth orbit, right? We never went to do the next step.
I think the driving force behind that disappeared more or less. But as you say, the space station was a big progress, of course, in the development. But it's really high time that we do these things now to the moon again, I think. And it brings back memories for me from July 1st, 1969, or even before Apollo 8. We did the same type of flight. So exciting stuff it was at that time, and it's equally exciting now, I must say, and important. Of course, this is a view that people can differ on. How important is it to do these things with space? I think it's kind of a natural aspiration of mankind to try to find new frontiers and pass them, so to speak, and to go further. So that's a natural instinct that is being seen at last again, so to speak. So I have great hopes for that things will go well, of course, with this flight, and that it will be possible to actually establish a base on the moon within my living time, and possibly even a trip to Mars, and then on from there to the rest of the planetary system.
Yeah, I mean, as a professional astronomer, for you, one of the things that I'd be interested in knowing what you think of the possibility of doing science on the moon, like astronomical science from the surface of the moon. Um, I've heard that brought up as well as potential if we do have a base and where we have a presence there to do that kind of
No, that's
work.
true. That's true. I'm not really an expert on the topic, but it's clear that on the backside of the moon, you have a situation where you have absolutely no radio interference, for instance, and you might construct a very large radio telescope on the far side of the moon that would be able to do things that so far has not been able possible to do. So that's one futuristic aspect of this.
Absolutely, yeah. So science, and of course, I think, a lot of, I think what people need to realize is that when we're talking about, the Artemis program's goal being to build a base for human presence on the surface of the moon, it's probably going to look sort of like, I think, what we see happening um, in Antarctica. How we see a research station with scientists, engineers, maintenance, people coming and going for extended periods of stays in Antarctica. We see that happening. I see a potential of that kind of a scenario building in with the moon. In the south pole of the moon is what they're looking at, where there's a large water ice reservoirs in the deep portions of the craters. I know they've looked at some of these craters, and that's where they want to potentially have access to that water ice. So there is going to be a lot of potential for like engineering projects, being able to extract that water ice and things. So there's a lot of development that needs to happen. Equipment needs to be built that can withstand the dusty air, the dust on the moon and everything. There's a lot of things that need to be developed, and I think we're just now at the start, right, of being able to do things like that.
And that would of course also would be a pilot project for going to Mars, because then you have to do all these things again, but in a more difficult manner and far away, much further away, of course. But again, I mean, this step to stay on the moon is just like a step to go out into the planetary system, and first of all to Mars, of course.
Absolutely. We're now just over 53 minutes away only from the first attempt to launch. We'll have a 2-hour window of opportunity today to launch from the coast of Florida at the Kennedy Space Center on a very historic launch pad, 39B. For those space aficionados out there, 39B was a very storied launch pad. Where Artemis is sitting is where the Apollo rockets also left on their mission as well. So it was originally built in the early 1960s. Space shuttles have also been, it's been renovated and redone, the launch pad, but it's still there. It's a really fantastic, I've been fortunate enough to visit the Kennedy Center, see the launch pads. It's a fantastic, if you get a chance to go. But Peter, I wanted to ask, I know it's late at night. I don't want to keep you up for much longer. What are you looking forward to most in this mission? What's exciting you?
Well, it is more or less the same feelings as I had quite many years back when things were being explored for the first time. And it's really quite fascinating to see this happening, and very exciting, of course, to see the liftoff. Again, I think it would be a fantastic thing to actually establish a lunar base. However, what do you think, Andy? I mean, we are the Astronomers Without Borders. Will the moon base be without borders? How international will it in fact be? I mean,
that's a good question.
Are we talking about competitive projects from other parts of the world? So I know this is to some extent international. ESA is participating, of course, but it's not truly global.
That's right. And, really, as we at Astronomers Without Borders like to say, one people, one sky, does that also apply to the moon? One moon, one Mars, one solar system, and on, right?
Well, I heard you ask the previous guest about whether he would like to go on the trip, and my answer to that would be I would definitely go on this trip if it was possible. In fact, I already in the late 80s applied to become an ESA astronaut.
Oh, so, did you? I mean, wow.
The willingness was definitely there, but the capability wasn't sufficient. So no, I never got far. But at that time, there was an offering from ESA to several ESA member states that they could you could apply to be an astronaut. So I sent in an application, but I didn't get very far. But I would certainly do it again if there was a
Would you?
possibility.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that if you would do it if you had a chance.
Yeah, well, it's a bit late for me perhaps, but definitely, yes.
Yeah, well, perhaps as a tourist one day, right?
You never know.
You never know. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you
Okay.
very much from Astronomers Without Borders for all the outreach work that you do, the participation and the passion that you bring, for all the amazing work that you do, bringing astronomy to everyone in your region of the world in Sweden. Thank you so much for joining us on today's broadcast.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy, and all the same to you. I mean, you are doing the most valuable work here. But
Thank you very
yes.
much. It's a joy. Thank you. Meeting folks like you, it's
Bye-bye.
always fun. It's awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. Clear skies.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Thank you.
That was fantastic. That was Peter Lind from Sweden, who's our national coordinator in Sweden for Astronomers Without Borders. Fantastic fellow, does so much for astronomy in his region of the world. Fantastic. Here we are. We're watching the live broadcast of the launch of Artemis II. Let me just take a break for a second. I'll be back. There they are. They are suited up. They are getting ready to go through their checklist of all things necessary to get ready for the moment of launch, which is only 48 minutes, 30 seconds away. Can't believe it, guys. We're getting close. Is this actually going to happen today? Gee, I hope so. We're getting close.
It's a new era of pioneers, star sailors, thinkers, and adventurers.
Go. Drop. Go. CD8. Go. Fido. Go. All right, folks. Go for launch.
Our destiny is always to go and see what's further and what's next.
Fido. Nominal makeup launch happen.
I'm Christina Cook. I'm a mission specialist.
I'm Jeremy Hansen. I'm a mission specialist.
I'm Victor Glover. I'm the pilot.
I'm Reed Wiseman. I'm the commander for the Artemis II mission to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
When I was young, I had a poster of the Earthrise picture, the famous picture that was taken on Apollo 8. And the fact that it was a human behind the lens that made that picture so profound and changed how we all thought of our own home was so amazing to me. The moon is not just a symbol of thinking about our place in the universe. It's not just a symbol of exploration. It's actually a beacon for science. It's a beacon for understanding where we came from.
You know, pushing ourselves to explore is just core to who we are. That's a part of being a human. That's our nature. We go out there and we explore to learn about where we are, why we are, understanding the big questions about our place in the universe. The exploration we're doing is the first few steps on the path of getting humans to Mars.
The Artemis campaign of missions have set such an ambitious goal for humanity that it's inspiring contributions from around the globe. Not just one nation is inspired and moved by this, but nations from around the globe are coming together.
When I look at the Artemis II crew with Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, they want to go do this mission. They are keenly driven. They are humble to a fault. It is so cool to be around them. Artemis II is a huge mission, but I hope we will look back and realize that this was one tiny step in humans on Mars and a sustained presence on our moon.
Four-stage engine start.
Artemis II will be NASA's first crewed flight test of the Space Launch System rocket
and Orion spacecraft around the moon.
To verify today's capabilities for humans to explore deep space
and pave the way for NASA's long-term human and scientific presence
on the lunar surface.
We are ready.
We are going
to the moon
for all humanity.
We are Artemis.
And mountain biking. He has a wife and 3 children. And he's the one that you see bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I know, I'm trying to see what he's doing there. Christina's looking too. And so there is your Artemis II crew inside the Orion spacecraft. And this is actually the 7th time NASA astronauts will launch on a new NASA spacecraft designed for crew. And if you're wondering about the first 6 crewed test flights, here they are. Gemini 3, Gus Grissom, John Young, March 23, 1965. Apollo 7, Wally Schirra, Don Isley, Walt Cunningham, October 11, 1968. Space Transportation System, or STS-1, John Young, Robert Crippen, April 12, 1981. Then NASA's SpaceX Demo 2, Doug Hurley, Bob Behnken, May 30th, 2020, followed by NASA's Boeing crew flight tests. Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams, June 5th, 2024. And now, Artemis II with Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. It is really surprising, honestly, to hear that through all these decades, through all these launches we've had, this is only our 7th new vehicle that we're testing for crew.
Yeah, you know, we have so many different missions that we think about and we talk about, but really 7 vehicles that we've tested and that we're flying. You know, I like to think of spaceflight really as a permanent test, right? We have, you know, hundreds of missions or so. You know, an airplane that gets tested and then flown has thousands of data points. And so really spaceflight is always going to be in the test field. And I think it's important to remember that, especially as we put humans on rockets that we never have before, or for the 7th time we start a new vehicle and a new mission.
To leave the pad.
It's exciting stuff. We are making good time and the closeout crew is doing really well.
Wow, wow, wow. We're getting close, guys. This is incredible to watch.
Until the opening of our window.
I'm getting really excited.
And Artemis II
41
is
minutes
a 10-day
left.
mission that will send the 4-person crew on a journey around the moon and back to Earth.
So they've closed the hatch.
Critical step towards
the crew
future lunar
are in the
and Mars
inside
missions.
the Orion capsule. The support staff are leaving. Here's a little montage of some of the guys.
We're going back to the moon because it's the next step in our journey to Mars. We need to go explore the moon. There's vast regions of unexplored areas with the coldest, darkest places in our solar system. This is a test mission, and when we get off the planet, we might come right back home. We might spend 3 or 4 days around Earth. We might go to the moon. That's where we want to go, but it is a test mission, and we are ready for every scenario as we ride this amazing space launch system in the Orion spacecraft.
But another reason we're going back to the moon is to fulfill NASA's mission, which is to explore the unknown in air and space, to innovate for the benefit of humanity, and to inspire the world through discovery. And when we succeed and when we accomplish the things that we set out to accomplish, that inspiration not only can set up new things to happen, but it also is a reminder in tough times that we're capable of doing great things when we work together.
The thing I love about the moon is that it's not just a beacon for exploration and this platform of possibilities for incredible missions like this, but it has benefits. That's actually why we're racing towards it. Those benefits are really wide in nature. You have everything from innovation, technology development, not only for future missions going deeper into the solar system, but technologies that come back to Earth. You have inspiration, a whole generation of people starting this pipeline of STEM workers and manufacturers and operators that are excited to see what you can do when you work hard and you come together as a team.
When I think about the four of us flying around the far side of the moon, seeing that Earth rise, taking images and video and sending them back to you, the feeling that I have inside is hope. We know that Artemis II is not the solution for humanity on planet Earth, but it is a contribution in the positive column. We hope that just for a moment that people will pause and say, wow, it's extraordinary when you look back upon the Earth with over 8 billion people, and you see this concrete example of what humanity can do, this extraordinary thing when we set big goals
and CDR entity
to achieve them.
And so Mission Control Houston will control the flight of Orion after a liftoff here at Kennedy Space Center. Here's Gary Jordan, who's embedded with that team. Gary, you might have to pause because we did just hear a call out to the commander in Orion.
Will do, Megan. I think that was Commander Reed Wiseman responding to prepare for some of the next steps. We are now holding at the T-minus 10-minute hold. Expected a 30-minute hold. So we are well on the countdown. We are well on the timeline to meet this L- time and launch towards the beginning of the window, but continuing to track progress along the way. Again, I'm here with the Artemis II flight control teams in Mission Control Houston. The team in the room behind me has been monitoring the countdown and verifying their own mission-specific launch criteria of the Space Launch System, the Orion spacecraft integrity, and its crew. During the final poll before launch, if all looks good from each of the flight controllers in this room, Flight Director Judd Freeling will report a go for launch from Houston Flight. Upon liftoff, teams here take control of the mission and communicate with the crew while they fly on the Space Launch System. This phase of flight is highly dynamic, and each console position has a dedicated and important role of looking after critical systems. You'll hear calls from Capcom and NASA astronaut Stan Love in this room to the Artemis II crew as milestones are reached during the more than 8 minutes of powered flight on the core stage. Liftoff and Ascent are just the beginning. This room will be staffed around the clock over the next 10 days to oversee every moment of the mission through splashdown. Here from the Johnson Space Center, we'll be streaming the mission live 24/7 so anyone can follow the crew's journey, take peeks inside the spacecraft, and share the experience of a lunar flyby with astronauts looking down at the moon's surface. Teams here have been rehearsing tirelessly in simulations to throw every conceivable and inconceivable scenario their way. We are ready and eager to begin the Artemis II mission. Still milestones to come as we continue the countdown, but we'll be right back with you during the Ascent phase of today's flight. With that, Megan, I will send it back over to you at the Space Coast.
Thanks so much, Gary. Under 37 minutes until the opening of our 2-hour launch window, 6:24 p.m. Eastern. I've never been more excited for a time. But why don't we send it back over to Megan Carter with the Moon Board to learn more about what happens after Ascent.
Absolutely. I am definitely also getting excited. Things feel like they're starting to pick up a little pace here. A lot is about to happen within the first 10 minutes of launch, but what happens after those first 10 minutes? Let me take you over here to my mission map so we can kind of jump ahead and let me explain a few things. So, our main engine cutoff is going to stand for MECO, and that is essentially where the rocket's job is done, and it is then going to turn the propulsion duties over to our ICPS. That stands for Interim Cryogenic Propulsion Stage. Don't try and say that too many times fast, but the ICPS is going to be right here, and that's our in-space propulsion. About 50 minutes into, after about 50 minutes into launch, it is going to conduct that first burn, and that's going to be the perigee raise maneuver. Essentially, essentially what that is going to do is going to raise the spacecraft from a lowest point of Earth just a little bit higher into space. And then they're going to conduct that nice path. It's going to set them on that nice circular path around the Earth. That's when they're going to start to be able to really check out the spacecraft. The Orion spacecraft is going to be able to, like we've talked about, be maneuvered by the crew. They're going to check out those life support systems, and communication checkout's going to be vital at that point as well, obviously. Then they will be conducting that another burn, and that's going to raise them just a little bit higher again. And then they will, it'll be about time for the ICPS to separate, and they will start another lap around the Earth as well. Now, the ICPS, but even after it separates, its job will not be done because they will have the opportunity to conduct something called the Proximity Operations Demonstration. And this is going to be really important for our future lunar missions because the ICPS actually has a target on it, and the crew is going to have the opportunity to manually maneuver these spacecraft like we've mentioned and practice those docking maneuvers. Now, obviously, they will not be docking for this mission, but that is, again, going to be critical for those lunar missions.
That, by the way, what she's talking about is not on this mission docking, but the next one, Artemis III. That, if you guys do follow NASA's plan, they recently rejigged the idea of Artemis III. Instead of landing on the moon, they've reconfigured that mission to do a docking testing with the lunar landers that are being built by SpaceX and Blue Origin. So we'll see that probably early next year in 2028. That's the next mission after this.
Towards that lunar flyby. And I know we have talked a little bit about why this could be a record-breaking flyby and journey to the moon. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Megan so she can tell us just why.
Yeah, she's talking about the distance record set by the Apollo 13 astronauts in 1970. They were 248,655 miles away from Earth, and this Artemis II crew might surpass that on flight day 6 when they fly around the moon by more than 4,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a long ways. It's tough to fathom 250,000 miles from Earth. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and by the way,
the space,
that's an interesting one. I'm going to show you a flyby simulation now. Check this out. Of what the astronauts may see when they are on the far side of the moon. As you can see, the far side is illuminated. It's not, doesn't mean that it's dark. It just means that from our point of view, we can't see that lit up, that part of the moon. What we're seeing here is a computer simulation, just remember, of the far side of the moon, the part of the moon we don't get to see from Earth ever because it's tidally locked, showing the same face towards us, towards Earth all the time. There's the Earth in the back. You can see the size difference. This is kind of what they'll see, and then they swing around and come back to Earth. This is so you get an idea at least of what the view will be from the mission. So something really interesting, I think.
But you are not alone. We will be all cheering you on from planet Earth.
Hey, I'm Victor.
We got famous people,
basketball in the NBA.
celebrities.
I'm also interested in shooting stars, dark matter, and all other types of astronomical phenomenon. And to the Artemis II astronauts who are shooting for the moon, I wish them good luck and Godspeed.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Gosling and I play a biologist who goes to space to save the planet in the film Project Hail Mary. But the Artemis II astronauts are going to space for real, and they will travel farther from Earth than any humans in history. Sending all our best wishes to the Artemis II crew.
I just want to say how proud I am of each of you and how inspired you make me.
That's nice. Messages from celebrities. I think that's nice.
Future generations.
I think NASA is really attempting to do a lot of public relations, trying to get people to be more interested in space. It's just interesting that times have changed. It's not where we were 50 years ago, where all the coverage was just this. There's just so much happening in the world. There's so many different competing things going on, situations that for eyeballs. But I think a lot of people are watching. I think most of the the world will be watching on probably on their phones and other devices, handheld devices, not necessarily on a television set like it was way back when, 50 years ago, but I think it still can capture the imagination.
Of the rocket on the pad, there is a spectacular place here at Kennedy Space Center to watch launch from, and that's the Banana Creek viewing area. Why don't we go back there where the crowd is excited, and Leah has the best assignment ever, talking to people who are super excited about being here for Artemis II.
Oh my gosh.
But what would be really interesting, I think, is really being able to get high definition views, right? I mean, that would be, I think, the most interesting thing is for us to be able to use our current technologies, even sort of, virtual reality, things like that. I don't think they have the bandwidth right now to do that, but in upcoming missions, we'll probably see a more expansion of that technology, HD, 4K, 8K resolution imagery, videos will probably come at one point where you would maybe able to put on some VR glasses and be able to be immersed in a lunar environment. That's the kind of stuff I would love to be able to see. So while they're some interviewing some general public, let's take a look at what it's like to, when you get the munchies, you get hungry in space on the Artemis mission. What's going on in the Orion capsule? What do they eat? What does the crew eat for 10 days? Check this out.
Around the moon meal.
Around the moon meal. What would you eat? Cheese, you think?
Oh my gosh. That's clever. What do you think?
All right, describe. My name is Christina Cook.
And I'm Jeremy Hansen. We're crew members on the Artemis II mission flying around the moon. And when we fly around the moon, of course, we're going to be taking some food with us.
That's right. This is how to eat in space. Here we are in what we call our food lab at NASA Johnson Space Center. We come in here quite often to sample space food. The neat thing about the food selection is it is so diverse. Different entrees that you wouldn't imagine can be rehydrated and actually good in space are completely fair game. And it's pretty awesome.
We came in for Artemis to do this. We got about halfway through the first session and we're like, we're not really sure we're gonna have time on board to warm this stuff up. We talked a lot about day one. It's a long day. It's hours before we even leave the launch pad on our way to space. And then when we get to space, we have a lot of important events that day. We just did a sim yesterday where lunch is scheduled. It's
midday meal.
Yeah, midday meal for all four of us. And so those would be great moments, I think, in our mission to have prep some food and sit down or float as a crew and just have a joint meal.
For sure.
I think that'd be fun.
We've got the NASA administrator talking. Let's tune in. This might be interesting.
The moon base, right? And that is going to be filled with science discovery.
This is the new NASA administrator, Jared Isaacman. He's gone up on to space himself before.
So honestly, history-making years ahead of us, with Artemis 3 and 4. But first is Artemis 2. What will be our single greatest takeaway from this mission?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, after ignition, to me, the moment that I'm going to be most excited for is splashdown. And there's no question about that. Good shoots coming down off the West Coast. But look, I think the takeaway from this is gaining extreme comfort in the Orion spacecraft, right? I mean, this is very different than what we've done for more than a half century, right? I mean, the velocities that spacecraft is going to re-enter at, it's going to be new territory for us. We want to get our arms around that completely. So I would say the performance of SLS plus Orion is everything on this one. We want to make sure we do it in as a safe way as we possibly can, understanding what we are undertaking right here, bring our crew back, learn as much we can from the vehicle set up for Artemis 3 in 2027.
Right, and Administrator, we've actually had a pretty young audience today here, some kids running around the balcony. How do you hope Artemis 2 inspires that next generation?
I talk about this all the time. Like, one of our overarching KPIs that we should always be tracking is the number number of people living and working in space. Well, you know what's another strong number 2 on that one? It's the number of kids that are dressing up as astronauts for Halloween so that they grow up, that they're inspired to want to join in this grand endeavor, whether they come work with us here at NASA or they join in industry, but they're helping humankind venture out farther, pursue all the secrets of the universe.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of kids dressed as astronauts this year. And finally, Jared, you've really made it a personal mission to get to know the people behind the work at NASA. Do you have any final thoughts, any final words before today's history-making launch?
Yeah, well, one, I want to express a lot of appreciation. I'll tell you what, the 4 astronauts on top of Artemis II know this. It takes an army to pull a mission together like this, right? Across all 10 of our centers, all of our commercial partners, the international partners that come together to make this possible. My sincere appreciation for everyone who is currently working the mission right now, so getting them ready for launch, that will be watching over them in mission control, recovering this crew when they splash down off the West Coast. I have complete trust and confidence in your abilities. And everybody else who's not directly working on Artemis II, Artemis 3 is coming up next year. When this mobile launcher gets back in the VAB, we're going to start stacking.
Wow, plenty of excitement ahead of us. Jared Isaacman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Of course. All right. And with that, let's get back to the countdown with NASA's Megan Cruz.
Under 25 minutes and counting from the opening of our 2-hour launch window. And take a look at all these people behind us. I literally, every moment I turn around and I see the clock, I am like, oh, wow. Oh, wow.
There are more people and less time.
Yes, exactly, which is a great problem to have.
Yes.
All right, guys. Let's take a break here from the NASA feed for a second. And I just want to bring in another special guest from Astronomers Without Borders National Coordinator Network, another big outreach person and really super active individual who's based in Brazil, South America, and just a fantastic individual. It's Marcelo Souza. Do you hear me, Marcelo?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey!
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's nice to be here with you, Andrew.
Yeah, it's so great for you to join. Thank you so much, Marcelo. I hope you're doing great. Have you been watching the some of the live feed of the mission launch so far?
Yes, yes. Not only me, but many people here in Brazil.
Is there a lot of coverage? Are you hearing a lot in Brazil of this mission of humans going to the moon?
Yes, yes. I think that all the world, but here in Brazil, many people are trying to follow what will happen in this launch.
Definitely. And I mean, you do a lot of education with young people about astronomy. Is the moon something special when it comes to learning about the sky and all those wonderful things in the universe? Is the moon a special thing? I would think so.
Yes, and something that is important when we organize any activity with kids, because the kids didn't see the man on the moon. Then, if the last time was 1972, right, that the man walked on the moon. Then, when I showed the videos of these astronauts on the moon, it's something fantastic for them. And now is opportunity for them to see live the man arrive on the moon. I hope after this first launch, we have the new one that will allow the astronauts to touch on the Mars surface.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the video coming in, looking at all the children. There's so many children that are really excited about the idea of space and traveling in space, seeing things in space. I know I'm an amateur astronomer too, and whenever I do, bring my telescope and I show the moon, children just love it. It's just they can't get enough of seeing the moon up close. What why do you think that is? Why are children so drawn to looking at the moon and wanting to
I
see it up
think
close?
I think that all of us, what happens is that I think that adults, us our adults, we don't show that we are. It's a wonderful view that what you are looking telescopes as the kids do. Né? Then when we organize an activity, the first people that are coming near us to look at the telescopes are the kids, and the kids bring out the family to look at the telescopes. Then I think that the full moon ever is a fantastic moment for all of us. And the kids that don't have a problem to show that there's something fantastic for them, that participate with enthusiastically with in these activities. But I think that are activities for everyone, and everybody enjoy to see the moon from a telescope, looking at the telescope.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that because I think people are watching. Maybe many of them have never used the telescope before. Um, what can you see through a telescope about the moon? What would you think as a person who knows about telescopes and what the views are? What do you think would be what are some of the cool things that you could see through a telescope about on the moon?
What I feel that motivate many of them is when they see for the first time the craters
Ah,
on the moon.
craters, right? Yes.
This is something that ever they we see they very motivated, very happy to see this, because they can't see with naked eye. né? It's something that only with the telescope is possible to see, and it's something that they nowadays they can see the images in internet, in books, but to see live from a telescope the craters on the moon is something fantastic for them. This is a fantastic experience ever.
Yes, yes, I can imagine. Yeah, I know. I mean, the craters are just incredible, and I think what's really neat is that, of course, what we're looking at, while we were looking at watching the rocket, we're 18 minutes from launch. We're getting super close now.
Wow.
With a telescope, I mean, I know you can't see the the spacecrafts on the surface of the moon, right? A lot of people ask me, I said, can I see where the Apollo landing sites are?
Yeah.
But the truth is, I think you can't even see that with even the largest of telescopes, right? From Earth, you cannot.
Yeah. They ask for me the same. They want to see the United States flag. They want to
The
say
flag,
to
wow,
see
that's
the yes. Can I see the United States flag? I said, unfortunately, you can't see, but you can be sure that they were there. Now, the moon, the astronauts were on the moon. Many people ask this until today. But and this is a special moment now because it's a return. We are returning to the moon after so long time, and
Yeah.
it will be is almost fantastic. I imagine the kids today that likes astronomy to see the astronauts that will be very near. They will not walk on the moon now, but they will arrive near the moon. Will be in the orbit of the moon. That's something fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And I, as an amateur astronomer, I think it's really nice that the moon is just something so easy to see. There's something to see with just your eyes. And then, if you have binoculars, you get to see a lot more the craters, the Marias, all of that. You can distinguish the darker features from the lighter features, the highland and lowland parts of the moon. But then, of course, with a telescope, it's just like I remember I showed it to one person once, and in a public star party, and they were looking at the moon close up. I had a high magnification view, and they said that they felt like they were looking out the window of a spacecraft traveling just above the moon because it was so close. It looked like, they were just flying above the moon.
Yes, and something that is changing now is the new telescopes that we have. We have digital telescopes now that you can uh, record videos and live videos. You can uh, make a live zoom on the moon when people is looking. The technology is bringing for all the amateur astronomers new equipments that allow us to show images that wasn't possible few years ago. And we received a donation from with the help of Astronomers Without Borders. Thank you, Andrew. That is the telescope that we received from the SET Institute in a partnership with AWB that we're
Yes.
using in all the events.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, telescopes are a great way to introduce people to everything in the sky, the whole universe. And the moon is just a really great entryway into learning about the universe. So before I let you go, Marcelo, because we're heading very close to launch, I wanted to ask you, what part of the mission are you most looking forward to of Artemis? Once this launches, hopefully we launched now soon. What part of the mission do you think is going to be the most exciting to see?
When the astronauts will be orbiting the moon. That I think that will be the most fantastic moments. You imagine the astronauts looking to the moon very near, and orbiting the moon. That's something fantastic. That I'm waiting to see. That is will be a very special moment for all
Yeah.
the mankind.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I'm getting comments from people everywhere. They're going, well, they're hoping that, there'll be a lot of other missions coming up, and there'll be more people from different nations having the having the opportunity to go to the moon. So maybe this will open up much more for many parts of the world of having access of going to the moon. So it is exciting.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Congratulations. That is a fantastic transmission that you are doing.
Yeah, and it's great. And what makes it great is people like you who come in who are passionate about space and this astronomy and exploring the universe. That's what we're all about is celebrating the universe today. And what better way to start the kickoff of Global Astronomy Month and hopefully the launch of Artemis II, of our brand new mission to the moon. So Marcelo, yeah, let's hope it works. Take care and all the best. Thank you so much for joining us from Brazil. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Clear skies.
For you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. So there you have it. That was great. It was Marcelo Souza, a national coordinator in Brazil for Astronomers Without Borders. Fantastic individual, long-term educator, really connecting with kids everywhere in Brazil. He's a leader amongst the outreach there. Fantastic. And it's fun to have him on the show just to get different perspectives from around the world, just showing you that really, people, no matter where they are from, they are excited to actually experience this
right here looks like that was
this amazing historic event. Here we are. We're 10 minutes away. We're on a hold.
Report that they also lost lock for about 5 seconds. So
this is normal.
I would love to ask KUS and see if they also lost lock with the vehicle for any extended amount of period.
And COSE, while we're doing that, these are 1/10 hertz measurements, correct? So we would have had to lose it for over 10 seconds to get a second sample?
Yes, sir, that's correct. It is 1/10 hertz.
Yeah, so from our perspective, the allowance is effectively up to 30 seconds, up to 3 samples based on the 1/10 hertz.
So they've got
This
a
is not an
hold on
LCC
the
violation, I
countdown
believe.
clock, totally normal. We can expect
I'll agree with that at this
that to
point. Copy
happen.
that.
It's possible that we'll see it happen more, but let's tune in and let's see where this goes.
But it sounds like they have a loss of lock as well. About 2 seconds.
Okay. And I guess for both KUS and COSE, do we have lock now?
That's affirmed. We do have lock for COSE.
Yeah, so from the integration console perspective, we did have a temporary loss there within the allowable, and per the requirement, let's go.
And this is Houston Flight. We have lock and we have good telemetry here in GSE.
And KUS is reported to they have good lock now.
There we go. So they had some kind of loss in
So
communication
with all
there,
of
but
that, OSE,
it seems like it's
are we
back.
going to go configuration per your LCC?
Yes, sir. Recommendation would be go.
There we go.
LP, you concur with that?
Yes, sir. LP concurs go.
And launch director?
Yes, sir. Launch director concurs go.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just verify everybody has everything else complete, launch director, and if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the poll at that time, unless there's something else that you're aware of.
No, sir. Let's verify all our work is complete, and I would like one last check of our.
So what they're looking at is the telemetry, and so they're making sure that it is all working. I see a question came in here from Lindsay. Hi, Andrew, watching from Cork, Ireland. What would be the best part of the mission for you? Well, for me, I think might have mentioned this before earlier, is definitely being able to see the Earth and the Moon in one image, both of them. So that would mean that the astronauts would be on the far side of the Moon, at the farthest point in their mission, and then looking back at the Moon and Earth. I think that would be like an amazing view. And of course, with our amazing high resolution cameras we have, that they have too on board, we should get some really iconic footage from the far side of the Moon. That would take about, I think, day 5 of the mission. So that would mean like April 6th, 7th is when we would, I think April 6th is when we would see that probably. But let's see if this mission actually launches today. I hope it does. They're still on hold. The countdown clock is still on hold. They're just going through all the motions, the checklist to see if they can they can restart the clock.
RTD's go. Houston Flight.
Houston Flight is go.
Rock.
Rock is go.
And CDR.
Cruise go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And launch director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch, verifying no constraints, and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO.
Yes,
Artemis,
that's good news.
MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good air your voice, Charlie. PLT.
Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go.
Sounds like they're getting ready.
And NTD Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Whoa, that's
Copy
good
that. Operative
news.
and work.
That's good news, folks.
CDR,
It's
NTD.
getting really exciting.
Your risers and initiate short purge per your eproc 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8, 9, going to work.
Copy. CVSE NTD, start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy.
Okay. Well, there you heard it.
RSR NTD.
RSR.
They're getting ready to start terminal count.
arm rotation enable at this time, please.
It's currently at T-minus 10 minutes. Once we wrap up this last bit of work,
SNA arm rotation enable complete.
we're going to start that clock.
Copy that. Thank you.
Integrity crew, close and lock visors.
Yeah. Would you guys go to the moon if you had a chance? I don't know if I'd go on this one since it's a test flight, but maybe once it's like a regular thing.
In real time with
maybe.
Telemetry lock on the Orion. It was transitory. It was very short. They checked the data, confirmed that they had a good lock. This was with the S-band transmitter on the Orion. Worked through that issue, looked at the data, and cleared it. All with the world watching. Impressive work by the launch team.
Nope.
So we have a 2-hour window.
don't blame you. I think it's fun just to watch, right, guys?
And goes until 8:24.
But these guys, these astronauts are brave, that's for sure.
We'll be waiting for your verification on the short purge.
ECL copies.
And for all personnel, once we get that short purge verification, we'll verify that we are clear to go, and then we'll proceed with the terminal count.
We're still on hold.
ECL time estimate?
About a minute.
Copy.
No, we're close to restarting the launch clock. Let's see. What are we at? Okay, well, it's 6:24. This is when the launch window is open officially.
But not by much, it looks like. Just wrapping up some final work. And once that's completed, you'll hear NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding ask for the ground launch sequencer operator to go ahead and start the clock.
There you go. So they'll start the clock probably within the next few minutes.
The ground launch sequencer is an application software. It runs on top of the launch control system in the firing room. Acts like a conductor of an orchestra, executing hundreds of commands in precise order and timing.
Yeah, I hear that. I watch those shows too. Jetsons, Star Wars, Space Odyssey movie. It was all of them inspirational and making space something that I thought was going to be much more accessible in my lifetime. I mean, we're starting to look at space tourism a bit. You know, it's still in the realm of the uber rich and celebrities who can go up, but hey, it starts like that. That's how the airline industry started way back when. You know, the jet airliners was only there for the well-heeled, the people who had the money could go on jet airliners. And now here you go, like for a couple of $1,000s, you could go to the other side of the world on a plane ticket.
And that begins terminal count. Our new T0 is 6:35.
We should hear the astronauts in the communication during the launch, the entire launch, throughout this launch time period and going up into orbit. We should hear it. There we go.
From now on, you're going to hear two voices on the loops. If everything goes nominally, NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding, who's directly managing the launch team, And Alex Bendelos, the GLS operator who closely monitors the software, he has the ability to stop and restart the countdown.
So we may stop the clock still, even very close to the launch. It's not, it's not unheard of to do that. That happens, and it's normal. But we'll see.
22:35:12.
Affirm.
There you heard confirmation of the exact T0, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Again, our T0 is 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. But as I was saying, there's no launch button. This is autonomous. But there is a button that keeps you from launching, and that button allows the GLS operator to pause the countdown outside of terminal count and during terminal count and submit a hold to the next holding point. So the clock won't stop right away. If there's an issue, we'll go to the next stable holding point.
Someone was asking, one of you guys were asking, what's the temperature?
Rocket and ground systems to a stable point where they can stop the countdown if that's needed. But right now, we are counting down. Our next big milestone, looking to retract the crew access arm.
Okay, so that arm, that basically that platform you see on the left side of the screen is where the astronauts were is the bridge that they crossed to board the spaceship. That's now moving away. That's a great sight. So they are.
The astronauts took to ingress into the
there
rocket.
you go. They're just mentioning. Just quickly, what the temperature is at the launch site. It's about 24 degrees Celsius. So that's about, in the mid 70s Fahrenheit. So it's actually really beautiful, nice temperatures.
And they'll begin arming that shortly. Of course, the launch abort system. Great shot there of the crew access arm retracting away. The launch abort system is the tower at the top, and that's what would pull Orion and its crew off the top of the rocket in case of an emergency, whether it's on the ground or in flight. This is critical safety hardware that protects the lives of the astronauts.
What a great view of the launch pad with the rocket. Just fantastic.
Starting at T-minus 6 minutes, the GLS will start bringing that and other high-energy systems online, starting with core stage pressurization.
Very cool. Watching this, it's amazing. What beautiful weather, and you can see the coastline there. In the backdrop is the Atlantic Ocean in the background. So we're literally almost on the beach, literally, where the launch site is.
All systems are go.
Wow, so many people in the stands. What a great view they probably have of the launch, for sure. Getting there. Have any of you ever been to a rocket launch? I was very fortunate to see one of the third to last space shuttle launch ever. Space Shuttle Discovery mission. I was in Florida and I got to see it close up. It was just incredible to watch. And I was like a few kilometers away from the actual launch of the space shuttle, and I could feel in my chest the rumbling from the engines of the rocket engines as it was lifting off the launch pad. You can feel it in your chest. It's a physical feeling. It's very impressive and quite loud. Yeah, so I can imagine. And by the way, this is an interesting rocket because you see that there is the main fuselage, and then you see the two booster rockets on the side. Many of you may remember, it might look familiar because those are those side boosters were used in the space shuttle program. So it's the same, that same architecture is used here, and they can be very loud, and they rumble and they shake, and it's a pretty violent launch. And like I said, I can't imagine what it would be like for the crew members on board, but definitely for viewers that are, most of them are stationed, I would say about, 5-10 kilometers away. It's very loud even for the spectators. Absolutely. Thanks for that tip, guys. We can do that. There we go.
GLS is go for core stage APU start.
Core stage APUs start. Those are auxiliary power units. High-speed turbines which provide pressure to hydraulic pumps that steer the RS-25 engines. We're going to see a gimbal test a little later at T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what allows that to happen.
Wow. A lot of these systems that are on board are totally automated.
About 20 seconds. We're listening for go for purge sequence 4. That's a helium purge of the 4 core stage engines downstream of the propellant valve. This gets all the air and moisture out of there.
Right. So they're pushing helium through the pipes near the engine to clean the pipes out. Propellant. So it's just the cleaning.
Go for purge sequence 4.
Calling this a purge sequence.
Moving through the milestones. All is looking good.
Yeah, seeing a launch like this, there's nothing like it.
Just a few seconds, we're going to get that thrust vector control actuator test. This is a gimbaling of the engines.
Ooh, I don't know about you guys, but
there are the 4 RS-25s.
My hands are getting clammy. I'm getting really excited.
One of them built from
the tension is building.
And there you see them moving.
Okay, they're looking. Those are the engine nozzles. Look, you can see them moving. They can position them so that they can navigate. That's how they navigate. They can actually position the nozzles of how they're going to burn in what direction.
The rocket to internal, taking ground power away and now going to battery power.
Okay.
GLS is go for upper stage.
So they're using onboard batteries of the booster rocket now. So it's kind of independent power now. It's kind of like unplugging your phone from the charger.
Same milestone for the lower core stage coming up at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Right now, the 4-person Artemis II crew is 248,000 miles away from the moon. And if all goes well, they will fly by it in 6 days.
Oh my goodness. This is real, folks.
GLS is go for core stage to internal
Can't believe we finally made it this far.
All right, there's the rocket's core stage, which houses 3 flight computers, is now on its own power.
Here we are. It's incredible. What is it? 6:34 p.m. Eastern
There's no more
time.
margin on these batteries, so we would have to recycle back to T-minus 10 to recharge if we had a hold.
Okay. They'd have to put an extra 10 minutes if there was a hold right now, but we're now at 1 minute.
1 minute?
Oh,
Right now, the rocket does not know what the T0 is, but coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, control shifts from the ground launch sequencer to the rocket's onboard autonomous launch sequencer, or ALS. The rocket will count itself down, but honor any holds that could come from the ground. Now, shortly after liftoff, Houston will take control of the rocket, and my colleague Gary Jordan will take over commentary.
Go Canada. Yeah, Jeremy Hansen, mission specialist, is on board.
The rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers
Go Jeremy.
ready to ride the most powerful rocket
Fellow Canuck
NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit.
All right.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff.
Yes.
The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Okay.
Good roll pitch.
They've left the launch pad.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
Yes, go, go, go.
AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes.
Imagine they're sitting up at the very top there, all four of them.
Good performance before main engines.
The Orion capsule is about as big as an SUV, something like a Chevy Tahoe. Imagine that. And inside, they have about as much space as a large walk-in closet that you may have in a home. That's it. But maybe like a cargo van, 4 people for 10 days. Incredible. Oh, you can hear the crowd, the viewing crowd cheering. Wow, look at that.
Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, pounds fully on.
This is where it gets the most pressure on it as the speeds are increasing.
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
So it's 14 miles high in the atmosphere. Space actually starts at about 100 kilometers, approximately, in altitude. At that point, they reach space. So we'll see. Booster rockets should be coming off
Standing
soon.
by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation, expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark.
There you go. That's when the booster rockets, those side rockets, will come off.
Throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engines throttling
there
up.
they go.
Guidance converged.
Separation confirmed. The booster rockets have come off. Absolutely amazing. Look at them.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Great view from onboard camera. Look. Super. I love the onboard camera views.
SM priming complete. SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation. Minutes into the flight. Integrity 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
5,000 miles per hour. Look at that. Supersonic speeds.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view. Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02. We see the same on board, Stan. And Houston has you loud and clear on Tidris at the Carmen line. Outstanding, Stan, we have you the same.
3 minutes 50 seconds into the flight of Artemis II, Wiseman, Glover, Cook, and Hansen cross the boundary to space with good comm checks. GPS signals acquired after last jettison now working on internal checks to verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed verify accuracy. Flight Dynamics Officer analyzed the time of main engine cutoff, confirmed at 8 minutes 2 seconds, time of MECO.
Looking good. Wow, amazing that the camera still in Florida can see the rocket in the sky. This is the view from
Integrity, GPS processing.
Wow, that's amazing. Look at the clouds below and space, outer space there.
We see the same, and we have a beautiful moonrise. We're headed right at it.
Oh, that's neat.
Approaching 5 minutes into the flight, Commander Reed Wiseman confirms he has visuals of his destination. GPS guidance, navigation, and control software finishes internal checks and sends to navigation channels.
So they said on board, one of the crew members said they see the moon rising.
Engine press. 3 engine press.
On time, now passing 5 minutes 20 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, 3 good main engines are all that's needed to carry integrity to a nominal main engine cutoff target. Though at this time, we're seeing 4 good engines here in Mission Control Houston. Integrity, 75 miles in altitude, 330 miles downrange, approaching 10,000 miles per hour.
Wow, 10,000 miles per hour, guys. It's going to go up to 17,000 miles per hour. Incredible.
Integrity, looking good at 6 minutes.
Same on board, Stan.
Good trajectory and engine performance. Booster officer will soon report the shutdown plan to Flight Director Judd Friedling, expected at the 7-minute mark.
They're showing a
Integrity,
computer
78
simulation here.
miles in altitude, 460 miles downrange.
Integrity, expect nominal shutdown.
Integrity copies nominal shutdown.
Six minutes 40 seconds of mission elapsed time. Shutdown plan is as expected.
That's
Again, the time
a
of
view
MECO
from
was
the
confirmed at
Launch
8
Control
minutes, 2
Center
seconds into the
at
flight.
Kennedy Space Center. You see the exhaust of the rocket launch in the skies. You can see the engines burning. This is a view
7
from a
minutes of
telescopic
mission
view from
elapsed
the
time.
ground. And this is a onboard camera that's on the side of the
Throttling
rocket.
down as we approach the abort once around option. Milestone at the 7-minute 30-second mark. Now 84 miles in altitude, 650 miles downrange, traveling more than 15,000 miles per hour.
Integrity, AOA open.
AOA open.
The window is now open for an abort once around option that would target splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Still following nominal ascent at this time.
Nominal is good.
About 10 seconds remaining until the main engine cutoff of the Space Launch System core stage. Standing by for confirmation of MECO and core stage separation.
It's amazing they still see it. Not an easy track. Oh, that's a good one. Camera view from inside. There's the separation.
Integrity and nominal MECO, core stage separated.
We see the same on board, Stan.
There you go.
8 minutes 40 seconds into the flight, we have a nominal main engine cutoff heading in the right trajectory on the way to swing around the moon. Core stage has separated, done its job. The Space Launch System upper stage, the Inner Rim Cryogenic Propulsion Stage, or ICPS, still attached to the Orion spacecraft. Nine minutes of mission elapsed time. Integrity crew of Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen now in orbit around the Earth at the beginning of their journey to the moon.
So that's great. So the booster rocket has been jettisoned.
Integrity Houston, looking ahead to PRM numbers so far per the pad.
Copy that, Stan. Numbers for the pad.
Capcom Stan Loves now reminding the crew that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition is as expected prior to booster ignition. That time being 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time.
Look at the speed, guys. Wow, 18,405. It's crazy. So the core stage has separated. We had the main engine cut out, all of that. This is great. So really good. It really doesn't take very long. It's about
Integrity, good. Neds deploy.
it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to really reach the orbit. So
Copy that, Stan. Good, Neds.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup. Just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
We copy that, Stan. Halfway open.
Passing 11 minutes of mission elapsed time. Here, overhearing the conversation between Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman, already passing some milestones. We have a good nozzle extension deployment system. That is confirmed, complete. We also have the visors are confirmed up. Now past the dynamic phase of flight, that is Ascent. Their launch and entry suits that provided them an extra layer of protection. Now not as needed. They're going to raise those visors.
So the
And
visors,
later in
shields they
today's
have, they're raising
mission,
that,
they
the
will,
astronauts,
begin
so
to
they don't need
egress
it.
or get out of the suits to begin some of their initial tasks of activating some of the systems aboard in the Integrity spacecraft.
Really good sign. So
Passing 12 minutes of mission elapsed time. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that's targeted near 50 minutes of mission elapsed time, 49 minutes, 50 seconds. That's what the crew is going to be working towards. The Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover will focus on preparing for that milestone. In the meantime, mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen will start some of the activation of environmental control life support systems. You may hear confirmation of their activation over the Orion to Earth communication network.
So Jeremy Hansen, the Canadian astronaut, has a long checklist of things that he has to turn on inside the capsule that they need to live and work over the 10 days. So he's going to be doing that soon. They can get out of their seats and start doing some interesting tasks related to just getting everything set up for their 10-day road trip. So what you're watching here now is a computer simulation of what
and 30
the
seconds of mission
spacecraft
elapsed
looks
time. We're
like.
going to continue to follow the crew of the Artemis II mission. They are beginning their journey around the moon to verify the systems that will take us to its surface. An incredible ascent. Artemis II is underway. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey to the moon. Still milestones to come up as we await solar array deploy and the critical burns that will get Integrity into high Earth orbit around the Earth before engines are fired to get us around the moon. We'll keep tabs on Integrity and its crew from here in Mission Control Houston. But for now, we're going to send it back to you, Megan and Nicole at the Kennedy Space Center. Very jealous to hear how the launch experience was over on the Space Coast.
Yeah, Gary, if people are just joining us, welcome back to the Space Coast, where we just saw Artemis II lift off 14 minutes ago. And wow, what an amazing launch, and an emotional one, too, as soon as the rocket lifted off. Nicole, you had tears in your eyes, I had tears in my eyes, and we had all these people around us cheering. It was amazing.
Yeah, the energy was wonderful. I mean, it was a beautiful launch. You know, we've got 4 friends and family members headed to the moon. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, how does that make you feel as someone who, you know, is an astronaut as well, but also, as you said, friends?
Yeah, so proud of them. You know, man, we don't have the words in the English language to describe this kind of an event, and pride, love, so many emotions. You know, they are truly breaking some barriers, and hopefully, you know, as Gary just said, they've got a long day ahead of them, so wishing them well on everything, but so far, what a beautiful launch to watch.
Yeah, to be returning to the lunar orbit in more than 50 years. Maybe they go farther from Earth than any other humans before them. Maybe they see parts of the moon that we've never seen before. I mean, what a great start to what could be all of these milestones that we break in just a 10-day mission.
Yes, what a way to welcome in the Artemis generation.
Yeah, how do you feel? I mean, we saw some beautiful shots we were covering of course, the rocket, of course, the Earth falling away as we continued up into our ascent, but also some of those crowd shots where we saw young and old, just emotional, overcome by this history-making moment.
Man, we are going back to the moon for all, and we saw that today. We saw that in all the crowds. And yeah, you guys just saw that view, the sunrise or sunset, I guess. They just made it over the crest of the Earth, and you could see the sun peeking over. One of my favorite views from space. And I can't imagine what they're looking at now, and I can't wait to see what they're looking at in about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, and you know, I know a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm surprised this launched on the first try, because we know, like any little thing, we have to be keeping safety in mind, and we want to make sure we're ready to go. But we were ready to go, and I think it surprised a lot of people. What a wonderful surprise on this Wednesday evening.
It did, you know, and it kind of surprised me as well. But you know, it's just a testament to the team here that has been working so hard on Artemis. You know, Artemis 1, we learned a ton of lessons. We learned a ton from the wet dress for Artemis 2. We were able to go in, fix those things. We even had a couple mishaps today, not mishaps, but a couple, you know, anomalies today that the team creatively came up with solutions for. It's just a testament to the teamwork that gets us to the moon.
And so we can continue to watch Christina, Reed, Victor, and Jeremy on their way now to the moon in Earth's orbit and awaiting the next in-flight milestones, deploying Orion's solar arrays. So why don't we get back in with Mission Control and Gary.
Hey, thank you, Megan. Again, we're following along in the action. It is a long day. They have a number of procedures they need to get to immediately in their timeline.
And Integrity Houston, cross-tie is on board per the ETSI-DEM.
We copy Houston. Thank you.
Cross-tie referring to flight controllers here initiating a connection between some of the batteries aboard the Orion spacecraft, allowing for an even distribution of power. This is the flight control teams that took us through Ascent of the Artemis II mission today. Right now we're, as you see, passing 18 minutes of mission elapsed time. The Orion spacecraft integrity and the interim cryogenic propulsion system are maneuvering tail to sun. It is in this orientation, this attitude.
Integrity anywhere until that momentary prop caution.
And Reed, no action. We're looking at it.
Commander Reed Wiseman verifying what is being routed to his displays aboard Integrity. Propulsion engineer confirming that no action is needed at this time. They're pressing through with their nominal procedures to prepare for the perigee raise maneuver. And of course the solar array wing deploy ahead of that. The solar wing deploy is a critical milestone. We'll continue to have our coverage follow the mission until that deployment. A successful launch is just the beginning. The deployment of the solar arrays and successful confirmation that those solar array wings are drawing power is a significant milestone and says to the flight control teams that we will continue on today's mission. Power needs to be drawn to continue through some of the next milestones. Until then, the AOA open option that was called up upon ascent, the aboard once around, is the current option, and aboard to orbit option ATO will be switched to a preferred mode at the time that the solar array wings are deployed and latched. It gives the flight control teams a little bit more flexibility.
Integrity Houston, update on TDRS handover for your pad.
Give us just 1 minute. And Stan, you can read it. Ike is ready to copy.
Roger. TDRS handover east to west expected 1 second earlier at 5:1 minutes 26 seconds.
All right, Stan, we copy 1 second earlier for 5126 TDRS east to west, and saws are starting to deploy. Thermal knives are firing.
We concur. Thanks for the report.
Read back of the reports that you just heard on the Orion to Earth network. Integrity has maneuvered tail to sun. The RL-10 nozzle on the end of the ICPS is pointed towards the sun, and the solar array deployment sequence has begun. With the deployment confirmed, it'll be several minutes until they are what is called in a latched position. Once they are latched and confirmed to be drawing power, they can switch the mode to ATO and continue along the mission. The teacher's handover at the pad, that message meant the crew was provided some preliminary numbers of when to expect handovers between the tracking and data relay satellites. Currently orbiting Earth at an altitude of 545 statute miles above the Earth, they are in a near-Earth network communication system. The tracking and data relay satellites, geosynchronous satellites that are stationed about 23,000 miles above the Earth. After the apogee rays burn, that occurs later today, the burn itself will put them in an altitude that surpasses the range of the tracking and data relay satellites, and they will transition to the deep space network today.
And Integrity, for prop messages, we see 2 temperature measurements right near the line. It's that momentary message you saw earlier. We're going to suppress those. It's CM helium heater 2 T1 and heater 1 T1. They're going suppressed.
Integrity, thank you. We see the same.
This is Mission Control Houston, passing 23 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. This is after a launch that began at 5:35 and 12 seconds Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Right now, the orientation you're seeing from our arrow visualization that translates some of the telemetry that we're getting from the spacecraft and puts it into a model so you can follow along on some of the milestones that we are following here. The RL-10 nozzle that you see at the left end of your screen, though it is currently not firing, that nozzle is pointed towards the sun, and the solar arrays are currently deploying. From this visualization, they look fully stowed in a position.
Integrity, we are happy to report that Jeremy has the O2 sensors on.
Copy O2 sensors.
Again, Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover overseeing the deployment of the solar arrays. And we'll follow the attitude maneuver changes ahead of the first burn of the ICPS engine, the perigee raise maneuver.
Integrity Houston, we see 4 saws deployed and latched, ready for ATO preferred.
Yeah, we're almost there in the procedure stand, and we see the same thing.
And Integrity Houston, we are seeing a 7-second miscompare between the MET on Orion and ICPS. We'd like you to read us the MET from your center status bar and for the ICPS on StackSum.
And Stan, we see a absolutely precise alignment. MET 25, 14, 15, 16, precisely aligned with ICPS MET.
Copy. Thank you for that. We'll investigate a ground issue.
And Houston Integrity, ATO preferred set.
Copy. ATO preferred.
This is Mission Control Houston, 25 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight of Artemis II. We have confirmation that all 4 solar array wings are deployed and latched. This is the configuration needed to switch to ATO preferred, which you did hear confirmed from pilot Victor Glover. That mode has been switched. There was also a discussion with Capcom Stan Love and Commander Reed Wiseman about the alignment of the MET clocks on the Orion spacecraft and the ICPS. Commander Reed Wiseman confirmed the clocks are in sync, no issues, they're going to investigate it on the ground. We're proceeding with today's mission. 26 minutes of mission elapsed time and counting. This is Mission Control Houston. We're approaching 28 minutes of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. At this point, we've had a successful liftoff from the pad at 5:35 p.m. and 12 seconds p.m. Central Time, 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. We've had a good main engine cutoff, core stage separation, and a good trajectory to begin today's mission. Right now, the spacecraft has maneuvered tail to sun. We're standing by for another maneuver to maneuver into the burn attitude. This is where the RL-10 engine of the ICPS is pointed in the correct orientation for the perigee raise maneuver. We did hear confirmation that the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition has been confirmed per the pad, which means it was the predicted time prior to liftoff.
Integrity for GNC, we're taking channel 1 to unfiltered and to BFS.
Okay, Stan, we're watching. Go ahead.
Capcom Stan Love reading up to the crew of Integrity. They will switch the navigation source from channel 1, standing by for confirmation that that switch has occurred. Pilot Victor Glover will receive confirmation when, and is at least watching to confirm that that switch has occurred. Again, the perigee raise maneuver that we're heading towards, not too long from now, we're actually inside 20 minutes at this time from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. We did have a successful deployment and latched of all 4 solar array wings. This is the configuration needed to commit to the perigee raise maneuver. Of course, flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston will continue to evaluate that everything is good before committing to that burn. The perigee raise maneuver does raise the perigee, the lowest point in the orbit, from 15 to 100 nautical miles. The 100 nautical mile mark is needed to continue in low Earth orbit and hit the target for the apogee raise burn. That will put them in a high Earth orbit for the remainder of the day and set them up for the right position to execute the translunar injection and head to the moon tomorrow. The burn duration of the perigee raise maneuver is 26 seconds. A relatively short burn, but it does raise the perigee and do the job to get into the correct position before firing that main engine on the ICPS. The pad had a TDRS handover. This is the tracking and data relay satellites. East to west, they are geosynchronous satellites that are positioned around the globe. And as Orion makes its way around the Earth right now, above the west coast of Africa, at an altitude of about 923 statute miles, and counting. The perigee raise maneuver is not executed at the perigee. It is rather executed on the, actually closer to the apogee. But what it does is it raises the perigee on the other end of the orbit to 100 nautical miles. The 26-second duration burn does not conflict with the time that they've reported of the tracking and data relay satellite handover from TDRS east to west. Again, geosynchronous satellites that are used not only by Integrity today, but the International Space Station as well. That time of handover is 51 minutes, 26 seconds. Plenty of margin before the perigee raise maneuver cutoff happens, and the trajectory is analyzed to see whether it was a good burn. A good burn means that the burn was performed as expected and sets the trajectory on course for that 100 nautical mile perigee target mark. Again, for those sticking with us on NASA Plus and following along on our coverage, we will continue to follow and to cover the mission until, actually, we'll continue to cover the mission 24/7. But we'll wrap up our coverage here shortly. And now that solar array wing deployment has occurred on NASA Plus and Amazon Prime. Again, we will continue coverage 24/7 at the NASA YouTube channel. For those that want to see all of the upcoming milestones, there are select times where we will be coming back to NASA Plus and other streaming platforms. You can go to nasa.gov to find the latest on when to find those activities. Given that this is an operational mission, we do want to make sure that we are maintaining transparency in the mission and providing you all the information on what's happening in space as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen head on their mission around the moon. Inside Integrity at this time, again, the solar array wings have deployed. The Integrity is maneuvering to its burn attitude ahead of the execution of the perigee raise maneuver. Overseeing these steps is primarily done by Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover. Mission specialists Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen focusing on some of the system activation inside of Orion, namely the environmental and control and life support systems. The activation and checkout of some of these critical systems are very important to continuing on the mission, making sure that those systems are in a good condition and in a reliable condition to provide the necessary environmental and control needs of the crew, with humans on board through the duration of the mission that extends 10 flight days. We're standing by for an update to the perigee raise maneuver time of ignition. Should be read up to the crew very shortly.
Integrity Houston, updated PRM numbers when you're ready to copy.
All right, Houston, we are ready to copy.
TIG is 2 seconds earlier at 4 minutes, 48 seconds. TIGO unchanged at 26 seconds.
49, 48, TIGO 26.
This is Mission Control Houston. With that update, we are approaching a little more than 13 minutes from the time of ignition of the perigee raise maneuver. That time updated to be 2 seconds earlier was 49 minutes, 50 seconds of mission elapsed time. We'll now move to 49 minutes, 48 seconds. The duration of the burn, that's what was referred to as the TGO, will still remain at 26 seconds. Relatively short duration burn, again, just raises the perigee of the orbit today. Making sure they hit the mark on that time of ignition is the primary concern of Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover. Mission Specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen inside activating those environmental control and life support systems. At this time, all 4 crew members are wearing the launch and entry suits.
Integrity Houston, for Optimus on the PCD, we have time update instructions when you're ready.
And Houston, Integrity, we copy. Hands are pretty busy at this time. I think we will call you back when we're ready for that.
All right, that one is not urgent. 2 minutes to maneuver to PRM attitude.
We are watching and concurred. 90 seconds-ish, maybe.
Pilot Victor Glover confirming that that maneuver less than 2 minutes. Again, that the point of that maneuver is to point the main engine of the ICPS, the RL-10 engine, in the proper orientation to execute that 26-second burn. It needs to point in the correct position to achieve the goal of raising the perigee to 100 nautical miles. You heard some of the environmental control system activations over Orion to Earth. Jeremy Hansen activated the O2 sensors. They'll be measuring the cabin of Orion. During all of the activations, here on the ground in Mission Control Houston, Flight Director Judd Freeling is doing a poll with all flight controllers in the room to see if we are in a go position to go ahead and execute the perigee raise maneuver. Once concluded, Stan Love will report it back up to the crew, and we'll stand by for that.
Integrity Houston, MCC polls go for PRM pending attitude and saws.
Hey, we copy. MCC is go. Maneuver starting.
40 minutes of mission elapsed time. The maneuver to the burn attitude has begun. The maneuver also is paired with reorientation of the solar array wings that have been deployed. They will have various positions throughout the duration of the flight. Of course, solar array is meant to maximize the draw of power from the sun. So when deployed, we're in a biased solar array wing configuration that was called solar normal. This allows for the greatest surface area of the solar array wings to be drawing power and powering up those batteries of integrity, of which a cross-tie was enabled between the four batteries, the four battery buses that are inside of Orion. However, for the perigee raise maneuver, the solar array wings will be put into a position to take on the loads imparted by the ICPS main engine when they execute the 26-second burn. You can see in the animation here, the solar array wings are in motion, and the attitude is being reconfigured to point the engine in the correct direction, those solar array wings being pointed forward. You're getting a live look inside the Artemis II mission flight control room. The team you see here oversaw the ascent of our 4 astronauts inside Integrity, launching at 6:35 and 12 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. Now again, this room will be occupied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with flight controllers shifting on 3 shifts to oversee 24/7 operations of Artemis II while in flight. We will cover that live on the NASA YouTube channel, and we'll be covering that around the clock as we begin to wrap up our coverage here on NASA Plus. Before I do want to send it over to our colleagues at the Kennedy Space Center. And to my colleagues, it was a pleasure to join the teams at the Kennedy Space Center and be a part of such a historic launch. Here in Houston, again, we're turning our attention to the mission. And for now, we'll say farewell and thank you to our colleagues there for today's launch coverage. We'll see you again soon for Splashdown. This is Mission Control Houston, sending it back over to Megan and Nicole at the host desk.
Thank you, Gary. And yes, it was such a pleasure to be a part of this historic mission that started right here at Kennedy Space Center. It was such an amazing sight to be a part of. And now, as Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen begin their journey, we here at the Kennedy Space Center are about to wrap our broadcast. We'll, of course, though, have 24/7 coverage with our colleagues at Johnson Space Center starting as soon as we sign off, so don't worry. You can follow along our 4 astronauts every minute of their nearly 10-day journey to the moon and back. Nicole, I'll definitely be watching it, and I'm sure you will, too.
Yes, of course. You know, they just started, right? The launch was beautiful. This was a historic day. They're on their way back to the moon for the first time in over half a century, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them, and so we're excited to see what they have to do and excited to test out the Orion spacecraft. Mm-hmm. This is a test flight after all, and we're excited to see what we can learn from this mission.
Mm-hmm. Very humbling, inspiring. It was really amazing to be a part of this, and I'm so glad that so many people joined along by either watching here in person or watching online. And of course, Nicole, thank you so much for sitting through this, answering questions, adding so much context and information that really brought a lot out of what we saw today.
Oh man, I had a blast. You're a rock star. You're a professional. This was great.
Oh, you're great.
So this was a wonderful day.
Well, again, thank you so much, and thank you to you for watching at home. You know, tonight we didn't just launch a rocket, we launched the next chapter of human exploration. Our Artemis II crew now on their way back to the moon, and we're taking you with us. So thank you again for watching, and go Artemis II. All 4 astronauts, and it appears all of them are undergoing their suit leak checks. Yes, a pre-flight tradition that we have seen with our crewed flights, the card game. The astronauts who have just left crew suit up and are now walking down a hallway. And here they are, NASA's Artemis II crew, taking their first steps outside for their historic test flight. And the 4 of them step into their astrovan. And off they go.
see how